Hello, welcome, good evening. It's episode 401. Let's go. New era. And nothing has changed. Well, we've got Bitcoin, who also has not changed. Still 70,500 current price. We have a little bit of news to talk about, nothing too crazy. Overall, it was a slow day today, as expected. There was nothing coming out today. The biggest move happened on Wednesday, as we all saw, but gave us the volatility that we didn't really want. Whatever. I mean, we did want this kind of volatility, just toward the other side. Didn't happen. It is what it is. We'll have another chance next week. I think still, move should be toward the upside. Uptrend is still being maintained, although barely. I still feel like we've got a chance to continue moving forward, moving upward. Don't expect too much to happen for tomorrow as well. It's going to be a Saturday, and nothing ever happens on a Saturday unless you're Trump. If you remember, we're 3 weeks into this war, aren't we? We're about to enter the 4th week now. Hey, isn't that it? Maybe the war will end soon in Iran. First, well, day 1, I guess. Trump carries out the attack as soon as markets closed. Friday night, Saturday morning, 1 a.m. literally, we had the news that the war broke out. The next week after that, Trump and Israel decide to bomb the oil refineries in Iran. We saw those apocalyptic blazes that we covered before. That happened on the 2nd week. Or, yeah, am I saying it right? The 2nd week. Where, of course, markets are closed, so they couldn't react to it. Okay, great. Strait of Hormuz is a separate subject. Like, that was also blockaded basically day 1, because that's the natural response from Iran, is to block that, and that's how we get the United States and the whole world to kind of, hey, relax, don't go too hard on Iran, because we've also got some important stuff. We control 20% of the global oil supply. Sure, fair enough. So that was week 2. Week 3, which just happened last week, I'd say, it was the Karg Island narrative, right? The place where Iran exports the most amount of oil, or transports it, or whatever it is. And, well, now they're in trouble. And each time, you're going to notice that all of these have something to do with oil. This time around, well, yeah, seems like we're going to get more of that going on with oil. We now have more stuff with oil where we're actually going to lift sanctions on Iran. How brilliant. Yes, of course. Let them get richer in the war as well in order to lower the prices. This is the advantage that Iran has, is that oil, because Trump doesn't want the oil prices to go higher, of course. We're seeing this. He's doing his best to reduce it. He's even going as far as lifting sanctions on Russia, but I didn't expect him to go this far. This is next level. And I know I'm getting ahead into the news a little bit, but we will be talking about it in more detail. The fact that we have now lifted sanctions on Iran's oil. That level of desperation, and now Iran, of course, is even benefiting from this, because that Strait of Hormuz, very, very important. And Trump's already mad at Israel for, attacking the oil refineries, LNG, all that stuff. And Trump says, you know what, stop it, no more attack on energy, the prices are way too high. Hey, other NATO countries, come here, get involved, please save the Strait of Hormuz. We don't need you, but we need you. So, okay, thanks. Which is it? That's the whole situation that's going on right now. And Bitcoin is just kind of, sitting on the side. What are we really going to do here with all this? Do we rise? Do we give us the green light to continue rising? I'd say so. Why not, really? Because how much worse can it get? Hey, even at these prices. Okay, I know that we're still in a bear market and we are supposed to continue lower eventually. But I do have enough faith in order for us to rise at least to this downtrend line, which should make us a higher high, one more impulse toward the upside. And however strong that is, I'm hoping at least 80,000 would be optimal for my specific case. Now, nothing always plays out the way I want it to, of course. But even if the rise isn't that high, if it's something like this, that's still a higher high in my books. And then I allow you to crash to 40,000 or whatever you need to do with Bitcoin. So yeah, I still expect one more impulse toward the upside for the upcoming week. We don't expect too much in economic data, so I think we should be fine. It's all just about, when is this war going to end? why is the Fed pricing in a rate hike at this point, which we'll be talking about. But overall, like the crypto industry, nothing has changed fundamentally. Like everything is working great. Adoption is still there. Clarity Act might pass. Quantum resistance is coming. And testnet, we'll be talking about that later too. So a lot of good stuff planned. I still feel like even at these prices, very good prices to be buying. I have bought even at these low prices. I still think it's low. 70,000, sure, whatever. Anything 60,000, also really good, really cheap. But in the technical analysis standpoint, yeah, we probably will continue a bit lower, just a little bit, okay? Don't fear too hard. They usually say midterms, after midterms, is when we usually bottom in a bear market. We are in the bear market phase. There's no doubting that at this point, obviously. We just got to let it carry out. But it's over the course of months. It makes fools of both bears and bulls. You know, it's every man for himself in this bear market. And no one's going to be fully right 100% of the time. Not even I. Although I have been right so far. Not all the way, though. Some cases, sure, I've missed some. Like I missed the bottom. 66,000 is what I called. We hovered around it for a while, but ultimately we did peak much lower than that. 59,000. Terrible. Same with over here, 62,000 for what? But ultimately the uptrend was called for. The highs that we were expected to hit. We didn't really hit the 80,000. It's another miss, but still overall, even on other assets, other altcoins did call those targets quite well. Hey, I just noticed Monero and Litecoin are gone again. Is it my VPN? I changed my location back to Asia because if I went to Europe and I refreshed, the site is down. Like, what do I do? I can't go to Americas because I'd be IP restricted. Did I just soft lock myself? Yeah, I might have. No way. Please, I need the chart. I was kidding. Okay, here we go. Americas. Oh, somehow I am permitted. Nope, the assets are gone now. Monero is gone and Litecoin is gone again. Okay, sure. Why is it allowing me in Americas? Isn't that not allowed? I changed my location to Asia though because I like slow internet. Okay, whatever. That's enough changing my IP address. Okay, moving on. That's what we got for Bitcoin. We're going to hover around here for the duration of the weekend. Not real good volatility unless Trump does something this weekend, which I think so far the big move on oil was removing the restrictions, the sanctions on Iran's oil, which, like I said, we'll be talking about that later. So, yeah, don't expect too much. Ethereum and Chainlink, I think it was, showing early signs of a downtrend already. I think it's a fake out if I expect Bitcoin to make another higher high. These alts did a good move, so it's just a correction overall. And even still, like, it barely was supposed to maintain whatever uptrend this is going to be. But I still believe they are in an uptrend. Ethereum should stay above 2,100 for the duration of the weekend is what I estimate. Solana, I don't know, Solana being weird. It's at $90 right now. Sorry, I did not mention anything about Ethereum's price. 2,153. Yeah, really not going to expect too much of a big move on Ethereum for the duration of the weekend. Overall, toward the upside is my vision. Same with Solana, $90 right now. As long as we stay above 85, we'll be good. We might be hovering around 90, positive or negative 90, if that makes sense. 80 something, low 90s. That's what we should lateralize around. BitTensor. Okay, well, there we go. We peaked above 300. 310. Interesting move. AI narrative is very strong, so there's no surprises there. Uptrend will maintain itself and continue. So that's good overall for BitTensor. 230 is where uptrend invalidates. We've got plenty of breathing room. We're at 272 right now. For what? Why did we hit this? Literally at midnight after my stream ended, we're like, you know what? Big middle finger for you. Thinking that BitTensor's highest was 300. It was. But there you go. Proving us wrong once again. And in a good way, right? We do want this to eventually head higher. But I don't expect much to happen over the weekend, but I don't know. AI narrative is still in play. Sometimes it can surprise. I wouldn't put it past it if it does just eventually spawn above 300 some point next stream. Imagine that. Hyperliquid also doing great overall. like just solid. $39.45. Staying above 35, I'd say, is where uptrend invalidates. Fair enough. I like that price point. We hit our high at almost 44 over here. Really, really strong. I mean, these are prices of hyperliquid while Bitcoin was around 100,000. I should not go to a weekly chart. Let me go here. Literally, this period of time, excluding this October 10 crash, I mean, yeah, like October, November, Bitcoin was still in its 100,000s. November, we were at 101, 120. October, we were at these prices. We're literally at that same level for hyperliquid. Despite the time that has passed, despite whatever excuse of inflation you could give, although there's like, buybacks and max supply for hyperliquid, there shouldn't be too much of an issue with inflation. But the fact is, hyperliquid is doing really well thanks to oil, thanks to gold and silver back in these days in January, late January. So really, it's ever since the war started, 28th of February, you'll notice the biggest moves in hyperliquid happened, 14% up in one day, and we've constantly been heading higher and higher. We're 20 days into this, and still at a very high point. At a high enough point where we have seen hyperliquid while Bitcoin was at 100,000. Is hyperliquid rising because Bitcoin is rising? Clearly not. It's due to the commodities that they have there, and I've got some statistics on that, which we'll be discussing later. Very, very strong, the ecosystem of hyperliquid. So that's really good. If you don't understand it, it's a perps DEX. You can trade oil and gold and silver, all of that on there. Decentralized. And it's really good. I kind of want to use it. For what, though? I don't have money. So, yeah, I mean, I could use it to be part of the cool kids club, but I won't be able to do much with it because I don't have money. That's okay, though. We're going to stick with whatever we've got here so far. Still have my positions open in Bitcoin. I have other spot positions, ETF positions, dividends, etc. And I'm working. I'm slaving my butt off, but I'm going to get there eventually. Don't worry. I'll dig myself the hole out of poverty. Is that the way to say it? No. I don't know. I'll overcome whatever I'm going through, okay? Just give it some time. I'm becoming my better self, okay? SUI. 108 was our highest, which we know for this week. Still maintaining the uptrend barely. We've spiked below it twice. But we're still staying above 94.5 cents. Currently it's 96.59. Sure, fair enough. I would like to see SUI above $1, but we cannot have great things in life, I guess. Pika Pooch, hello. Did I hear the Clarity news today? I did see the odds spike up. We're going to be reviewing the Clarity. I do have an article pulled up for it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. Chainlink also fake out. I think this is fake downtrend. We should continue higher with Chainlink. $9.13. Downtrend won't last too long is basically what I'm saying here. $10 target was hit this week. That was great. Overall uptrend, I think, should still be in effect. Following this uptrend line, right? Ignore whatever super trend line you see here. It's due to this impressive rise on Chainlink that this was a premature flip around. Fair enough. And Hedera, same deal. Uptrend is to continue, I believe. We should stay above whatever this support level is. 0.915, we'll call it. Sure. And that is all for the crypto analysis. Why do they have to remove Monero on Litecoin? For what? Literally, absolutely no reason to be doing that. I do want to check what is crazy rising. Autism USDT. Alright, well, there you go. That's the state of the crypto market right now. I don't recognize any of these, dude. Buttcoin, Testicle. Alright. Yep. Yep, that's... Okay, anime. Oh, AIXBT. I didn't know they had a coin. Nice. And top losers. What do we got? Trash coins. What if I just short one of these? Is that just guaranteed money? I should know the answer. The answer is no, of course not. If you short, everyone will go against you immediately, so don't even try it. Yeah, that's all for this. I do wonder what other actual real coins are doing great. Where is CoinMarketCap? Top gainers and losers. Picoin, terrible. Ether, Phi, Quant. Oh. I don't know if it has to do with the name, but we'll be talking about quantum computing. Monero is here, it's up 2%. I can't see it. 350 basically the price. Sure, thanks. Pump Fund, barely up. Rest of these down. Meme Core, way down. How is Meme Core? It's literally M, USDT. 10% down. The volatility on this thing is just insane. Really, really good for trading as well. Like, I think I would get this in my portfolio just for trading. Hey, stop it. Just for trading, right? The volatility is just so good on this. All the time. Yeah. Just an idea for the future. Okay. Let's get on to our news then, shall we? So, Trump calling out NATO once again because they do not want to join. Or they kind of do, I don't know. We're getting mixed signals from them. We don't know what to think of them. Trump posted this. Without the USA, NATO is a paper tiger. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Now that fight, it's militarily won with very little danger for them. They complain about the high oil prices that they're forced to pay, but they don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. A simple military maneuver that is the single reason for the high oil prices. So easy for them to do with such little risk. Cowards. And we will remember. Oh. Yeah, can we, I don't know, stop supporting Ukraine? what is it gonna be? All right. Well, there you go. Calling out NATO, I guess. Remember that attack that... Okay, so Israel attacked Iran's oil stuff. The South Par, whatever it was. I forgot the name. I'm always going to forget the name. It's such a weird name. And then Iran counterattacked because they thought it was a joint attack from the United States, Israel, and other neighboring countries. So they also attacked places like Qatar. And yeah, the Iranian attack overnight damaged 17% of their liquefied natural gas production capacity, which takes them 3 to 5 years to repair the damage. This is the severity of this war. It's like, yeah, they are attacking each other, sure. And, okay, maybe the war will end next week. All right, great. And then what? It's going to take them years to rebuild a lot of the stuff. And, I mean, Iran is not spending a lot to fabricate these missiles and drones. And it's costing us a lot of money and time, both very important commodities. So that's the bad side of this whole thing. News reporters talking about an uncomfortable truth. U.S. oil giants and Russia are raking in billions, while the Brits get hammered with sky-high petrol prices, and Canada. For those who say that Iran is monetizing all this, both global powers are too. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the United States isn't really that affected. They're just going to keep producing more oil. And that's what everybody should be doing, is producing more oil, capitalizing off the gains. If not that, you're adding to the supply to help reduce the prices. Because, I mean, inflation everywhere else in the world. It's not just the United States, right? I mean, we've gone as far, like I said, to lift sanctions on Russia. But now we're moving harder, I guess, and unsanctioning Iranian oil. At least it was oil that was already loaded onto the ships, is what they're saying. Scott Bessent has said this is using Iranian oil against them to unleash more supply and lower prices while the war continues and possibly winds down. Okay, I could kind of understand that, but for how long? It's not going to be for too long. They said would be using the Iranian barrels against the Iranians to keep the price down for the next 10 or 14 days as we continue this campaign. And the action itself runs for the next 30 days. Please don't make it last that long. We keep extending the deadline for this war, but okay. So the Treasury Department just authorized the sale of Iranian oil. The United States is at war with Iran, and just issued a general license allowing anyone in the world to buy, deliver, and offload Iranian crude oil already loaded on vessels. The license runs through April 19th. Today is March 20, so that's 30 days basically. First, they lifted Russian oil sanctions to cope with the energy crisis this war created. Now they're lifting Iranian oil sanctions too. The countries they're actively bombing is being given a temporary pass to sell its oil because the global market can't survive without it. Or is everybody just profiting off of this war? Is that what it is? The exclusions tell their own story. North Korea, Cuba, and Russian-occupied Ukraine are blocked. Everyone else can buy Iranian crude freely for the next 30 days. 3 weeks ago, maximum pressure was the policy. Yeah, literally, were we not pressuring their economy and bombing their reserves and all this kind of stuff, their production facilities, to kind of choke them economically so that they won't have any money. And now they're going to get money. All right. Today, the Treasury is issuing emergency licenses for the enemy's oil exports because the war broke the market so badly, there's no other option. That is indeed crazy. What else is happening? Iraq just shut down most of its oil production. For what? Iraq declared force majeure on all foreign-operated oil fields after the Hormuz blockade filled every barrel of storage the country has. Okay, that's why. They're not exporting. They can't because the Strait of Hormuz is blocked. So what are they going to do? They're running out of storage space. They stop production. I guess that's what it is. Production at Basra Oil Company crashed from 3.3 million barrels per day to 900,000. Just enough to keep domestic refineries running. That's a big difference. Iraq didn't start the war. Iraq didn't want this war. And now Iraq, which depends on oil sales for 90% of their government income, is watching their economy flatline because a waterway it has no control over is sealed shut. The second largest OPEC producer just went dark. That's the domino that energy markets have been dreading. When a country producing 3.3 million barrels a day goes offline, the supply gap doesn't just affect oil prices. It also threatens the ability of an entire nation to pay its civil servants, fund its military, and keep the lights on. That's why you diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, like I do. I only buy Bitcoin. That's terrible. No, honestly, you should diversify a lot more. What is this? Yeah, no one cares. Why are we playing Call of Duty? Or Battlefield. Anyways, moving on. The US Pentagon, we're sending thousands of additional Marines and 3 warships to the Middle East. Let's go. Boots on the ground. Not really. Maybe. Trump's flirting with the idea. We don't really want that. I don't know. Up to 2,500 Marines from the USS Boxer Group are being deployed. All right. At 2:30 p.m., CBS News reported that President Trump was considering boots on the ground in Iran. No. Then at 3:43 p.m., President Trump said, I don't want to do a ceasefire with Iran. And then the S&P 500 hits a new 2026 low, based. Exactly 90 minutes later at 5:13 p.m., after the markets close, President Trump says that the U.S. is considering winding down the war with Iran. So between those two comments, S&P 500 has already risen near 1% on no news, and by 6:15 p.m., the S&P 500 rallied 1.8% from its low, adding $900 billion to its market cap, so we've already recovered immediately. And now markets are closed until Monday. He knows what he's doing. The timing is just all the time, man. Never misses. Does that mean short everything Friday evening? No. But, I don't know, something, sometimes. What if the news is good one of these days? We'll see. I don't know. One of the worst news happens on a night like this. With the China 100% October 10. Anyways, what else is going on? Trump unveils national AI plan to secure U.S. dominance in the AI race. This framework is a direct move to ensure that the U.S. wins the global AI race by removing outdated barriers to innovation. The plan specifically blocks big tech from forcing regular people to pay for data center energy costs, calling for companies to generate their own power on-site to keep your monthly electricity bills low. Yeah, I think we discussed this one months ago. Parents will get new legal tools to control their children's digital privacy and manage device use to prevent exploitation. What? The administration is also moving to stop a patchwork of conflicting state laws, creating one single national policy to protect free speech and intellectual property. The strategy aims to use AI for energy dominance and economic growth, while protecting creators from having their work stolen. The goal is to develop an AI-ready workforce that keeps the American economy ahead of every other country. Speaking of AI, I want to see if I could find the post. I think I had it on my phone. It has to do with Jack Dorsey and Block XYZ. Where was it? I don't think I'm going to find it here. Yeah, no, I'm not going to find it. Well, Jack Dorsey, basically, Block XYZ, started rehiring some of the people that they fired. If you don't remember, they fired like half of their workforce because they're like, yeah, AI is so good and it's going to take over all these jobs. Now their stock price jumped because of it, and it has been doing so for a lot of other companies as well. And now they're like, wait, we made a mistake. We fired too many people. We're going to start hiring some of you guys back. Same as what Twitter kind of did. Well, Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter and rebranded it to X, he fired like a lot of people. But that was just because he's like, we're just wasting money on you guys, right? We don't even need you. But then he's like, wait, we actually do need some of you because the platform is dying. Help. And then he built it to ultimately this big tool that we're using today. So I think it's a success nonetheless. All right. CFTC. The staff issues frequently asked questions concerning registrant and registered entity activities relating to crypto assets and blockchain technologies. And Michael Seelig says, as Project Crypto is now a joint initiative, aligning haircut treatment with SecGov for registered entities represents yet another step forward in delivering clear, consistent rules of the road for market participants. Good overall, I guess. I hope that I was hoping that would talk about this. It's basically this. The senators reached a deal on yield this week. Polymarket moved to 71% chance, a probability that the Clarity Act will be signed into law in 2026. Let's go. That's good. We do need this. Please. Urgent. That's the good stuff with the Clarity news. Can't make this up. U.S. market now sees a 50% chance of a Fed rate hike by the end of 2026. Grok, is this real? Grok, can we get a fact check? Can I fact check this in real time? A 50% chance of a rate hike by the end of the year. For what? Yeah, inflation is on the rise, but you're gonna kill jobs data. My eyes, please finish loading. Oh my. Okay, aggregated. I mean, we still have the chance right here. I don't see the 50% odds. Jeez. It's all like 90% chance that we maintain rates. So I don't know, this is probably outdated, potentially. Just months ago, markets saw as many as 4 rate cuts this year. That's true, I've seen it. As oil prices surge to 100 plus a barrel, inflation expectations are rapidly rising, with gas prices up nearly 50% in 4 months. Yeah, so much for that. In fact, the 10-year note yield, it's now up nearly 40 basis points since the Iran war began, bringing mortgage rates to fresh 2026 highs. All while the European Central Bank is now expected to hike interest rates twice this year. Really? Okay, I didn't know that one. Our models show that if current oil prices are sustained for another 2 months, CPI inflation will rise to 3.3%. That's pretty high. In just 3 weeks, the era of higher for longer Fed policy appears to have returned when markets were least expecting it. Those who do not own assets will be left in the dust. Own assets are left behind. Okay, relax. European Central Bank hiking rates twice this year kind of makes sense because they have been cutting a lot. I get nervous for Canada, though. If we get some rate hikes over here, that will be a big no-no. But I don't think inflation is out of control. I hope not, at least. But the Fed, they've just been delaying cuts at this point that, for what? What would you hike rates for? I mean, the rates are already high. Like, every other country is like 1 full basis point lower than ours. 100 basis points. Not 1 full. 1%, you get what I mean. They're like at 2%. Do we see what the ECB interest rate hike? ECB interest rate. Just give me the number. Just give me the number. Why are you so weird? 2.5%? Yeah, okay, sure. 2%. So which is it? Okay, it's something around that point. It's one whole percentage point lower than whatever we have, so in the United States. Really, it seems like we're just not going to do anything until 2027, and that's boring. We're just going to ignore all these FOMC meetings. Why are we getting Kevin Warsh in office if he's just going to do absolutely nothing? Let's just get Powell back in. We need the good afternoons. We need those free money from Polymarket. Will Jerome Powell say good afternoon in the FOMC press conference? I wonder if they will do that for Kevin Warsh. Like on his very first press conference that he has after no rate cuts. Is he going to start off the speech with good afternoon? Same as Jerome Powell. That'd be funny. Okay, Hyperliquid, as I was mentioning, they trade more oil, gold, and silver than crypto. It's literally just becoming a commodities DEX instead of a crypto DEX. Combined HIP-3 open interest surpassed 1.5 billion, an all-time high, and all this open interest makes more fees, makes more buybacks, makes token go higher. The platform is processing more volume in tokenized commodities than in digital assets. The 24/7 advantage is pulling volume from traditional exchanges. They're like the first to make this big move. We're seeing some already move toward that as well, some regulated exchanges and all this other stuff. I had a post from Coinbase. Yeah. They launched stocks perp dexes, or it's not really a dex because it's Coinbase. For non-US traders though, does that include Canada, please? Coinbase introduces 24/7 stock perps with up to 10x leverage, that is cool, on equities and 20x on ETFs, settled in USDC. Now that is great. The product is currently not available to US users as Coinbase pushes its everything exchange strategy globally. Why? Because of regulation, I guess. What about Canada? I'm sure we're not getting this in Canada. Will this be available in Canada? Just a yes or no answer. Oh, yes. Should be available in Canada. It highlights that this product is targeted at non-US traders, explicitly not available to US due to regulatory reasons, as part of Coinbase's global everything exchange push. Canada falls outside the US. Are you basing it off of that, or like a legitimate fact that, yes, Canada is in the list of people included? Coinbase operates in Canada with services like spot crypto trading already available to Canadian users. Yeah, but the issue is, like, I try perps trading. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, derivatives. Hold on, let me open my Coinbase app right now. Oh, I have to sign in, dude. I have a new phone and I have to sign in. I don't remember my password. Yeah, I'm not signing in here. Forget that. But I doubt it. I doubt it. It's in Canada. I gotta check, though. Or else I'll never know. Fine, you know what? I'll sign in. Don't get started. Sign in. Could I share my screen on my phone to my PC? Because actually I shouldn't, because I'm signing in. So don't need you guys looking at that. Am I right? What account did I use? I have like 4 Gmails. I think I used this one. Yes. Enter a code. Okay, it's sent to my phone number. Yes, use this code. Enter 6-digit code. Paste. Sign in with passkey. No, not now. Leave me alone. I just want to trade perp dexes. 10x. And it's not dex. I keep saying dex. Send notifications. No, I already get enough. I have $1.49 in here. It's because I bought $99 worth of Sui one time. Just a test. And man, the fees on Coinbase were pretty expensive. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not using this, pal. Thank you. Yeah, here's my transaction history. April 2025, I sent Sui. That's it. $100 worth. It actually rose in value. So I bought $100 and I sent it at $142 in value. So I made $42 in Sui. Isn't that pretty good? The 42% rate of return in one trade. Isn't it? I think. If it goes from 100 to 142, or is that a 4%? Dude, I don't know. I can't do math at this time. What was I looking for? Trade. Don't see any stocks in here. Let me find Google. Nope. Meta. Metaplex. What the heck is that? Perps. Oh, Meta Platforms. Yes, I can buy it. Dude, no way. Hold on. I'm clicking it, but it's not opening. Can't I just sign into Coinbase on here? I literally can. I don't have it saved. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all that trouble. There are no indications in the post related to discussions or recent coverage that Canada is excluded or restricted in this feature, unlike the explicit US bloc. Availability for Canadians would align with other non-US jurisdictions where Coinbase offers derivatives or advanced trading products. If you're in Canada, you can try accessing it through your Coinbase account. Rolled out around March 2026. Okay, well, we'll see. I'll come out with an update soon if I do eventually find it, but yeah, Hyperliquid, great. Coinbase, rare W. Did market sentiment finally shift in the right direction? Yes, at least for now. Situation looked very different on March 9. Bitcoin was at 65k, fear and greed was at 8, which is the lowest among the lowest levels historically. And both Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs had constant outflows. The fear was rational, stablecoin legislation stalled, Israel-Iran tensions escalated, and the Fed signaled no rate cuts. 10 days later, situation is different. We're seeing a lot of inflows in the ETFs. BlackRock launched ETHB, the staking ETF, and Strategy made a huge purchase, which we did cover, $1.57 billion worth of Bitcoin. As always, institutions bought while retail panicked. This is far from euphoria phase, though. Geopolitical risk remains, so it's best to remain cautious. I do agree with that overall. Part of the reason, why we have been rallying is all that. That's great. But you should remain cautious because, as it mentions here, Bitcoin usually bottoms at the end of the midterm year, not in the first quarter. Yeah, there will be a rise, there will be a dead cat bounce, there will be a bull trap, some people even argue. Like, bull trap case scenario for Bitcoin in the weekly chart. I mean, this thing could rise to 93,000, as I've mentioned before, and you're still in a bear market. You're not hitting 100k. So, you could expect maybe another drop or just prolonged choppiness by the end of the year, end of midterm year. I mean, it would be good to put the midterms behind us, right? Get the Democrats in and move on, right? It's already priced in. The odds of Republicans winning midterms is not high, so there you go. The war in Iran is just very unpopular, I think. An OG Bitcoin whale wallet has just been activated after 10 years of inactivity. Why? Why now? Why not when Bitcoin was at $124,000? It holds nearly $150 million worth of Bitcoin, which was acquired when Bitcoin was at $6.50. That's still a good rate of return. I mean, if you bought Bitcoin at $6, do you really care if you're selling it at 70,000 or at 120,000? Did I say 124? How old time I was 126. I'm sorry, I've blasphemed in the name of Bitcoin. That's okay. Contacting the insiders ASAP to figure out who this is and if they're planning to sell. Any updates? Probably not. Gold is also dropping, by the way. Yeah, I saw that. Here. Yeah, there's no updates. Okay, we don't know who it is yet. Moving on. Bitcoin's quantum fix just went live on the test net. Quantum computers could one day crack crypto wallets is the big fear and why people are not investing in it. Or at least they use that excuse. But the devs just built the first real defense and it's working apparently. It's not on the mainnet yet, but the shield exists. The feature is being built now. My question is, how are we testing this against quantum computers when they don't even exist yet? Or at least the prototypes are not even fully out. But it's, part of the testnet. Good, I guess. If we're going to improve the encryption, that is what is needed. So that should be good overall. Bitcoin quantum resistance just got a big boost. So it's BTQ Technologies. They launched the testnet v0.3 of Bitcoin Quantum, the first live implementation of BIP 360, a key step toward a quantum-proof upgrade for Bitcoin. And this is why I never really feared the whole quantum stuff, the whole quantum narrative, because I'm like, we're eventually going to get these nerds in a good way, um, fixing it all down for us, right? Right now, Bitcoin uses something called the elliptic curve cryptography, ECDSA, to lock up your wallet. I thought it was SHA-256 or whatever. Anyway, think of it like the deadbolt on your front door. It worked great for 15 years, yeah. The problem is that quantum computers are basically a lockpick that doesn't exist yet, but everyone knows someone's building one. China, Google. A powerful enough quantum computer could reverse engineer your private key from your public key. That's the nightmare scenario. But BIP 360 is part of the fix. It introduces pay-to-Merkle root P2MR outputs that hide the public key, paving the way for quantum-proof signatures like dilithium, built specifically to be quantum resistant. Hey, let's hope. And it's not just white paper or a Twitter thread. The testnet is live, it's real code, and it's running. Now, before you go full Bitcoin is saved mode, there's a few things. It's BTQ's testnet, it's not the mainnet. We're still in the kicking the tires phase, but it will only get better. Oh, and quantum computers that could actually crack Bitcoin, they don't exist yet. That's also the time value of it. The threat is valid, but it's like worrying about a hurricane that's still 1,000 miles offshore. Yeah, literally, come on. The sun is gonna expand and eat the whole planet, Earth. Okay, so what? You know, that kind of mentality is the way I analogize it, so I don't worry about it too much. Getting this onto mainnet requires a soft fork, which means the whole Bitcoin community has to agree, and I'm sure they will. And if you've ever watched Bitcoin's governance, yep, bring snacks. I don't know what this is referring to. Actually, I have not seen anything for Bitcoin governance, how that works. Either way, forward-thinking Bitcoin developers and teams like BTQ saw a problem on the horizon and started building the fix before it was an emergency, and that's how it should work. Nice. Good stuff so far. Hey, did you hear this? The metaverse is officially dead. Finally. Thank you. They put a bullet in its brain. The Meta, is shutting down their VR world and pulling back after $80 billion worth of losses. You could have just given me that 80 billion and, you know, I would have done wonders with it. Probably. I don't know. I really don't know what I would do with a lot of money. Solana Foundation, I'm sure you guys would say, oh, give it to me, give it to me. I'm literally doing the same thing to these guys. Oh, you wasted $80 billion? Yeah, give me some. All right. Meta announces they will be shutting down the metaverse after pouring $80 billion into the project. Also, gaming on a blockchain is not coming back, says Lily Liu. Whomst is this? Solana Foundation president. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I was not familiar with your game. Head of gaming of the Solana Foundation. Oh, so she's like part of this kind of, well, the industry, the gaming industry. And she's like, gaming on blockchain, that's just not coming back. I mean, you're trashing your own industry then. Hello. Right? This is real Solana. Solana Foundation. Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, okay. President and head of gaming. Alright, well, anyway. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't see too much of a future on this. It seemed like an interesting concept when, you know, Sandbox was a thing. It was like this Minecraft, metaverse, rappers, properties type place, Decentraland mana. And then you had the metaverse. And then there were games that were popping off like Axie Infinity. Everybody was talking about this. This is like back in 2021. And NFTs was a big thing back then too. And they're like, yeah, it's this metaverse stuff is like NFTs. It's like, you know, you buy a property and it's yours. It's under your name. And it's all virtual. And there's all these memes like, yeah, me virtually going to work in the metaverse, haha, with my VR headset. And then it's like, okay, now nothing much else came of it. At least I prototyped the meta glasses. That's a big win. But for metaverse gaming, nobody's really doing that. So rest in pieces. Moving on. Top 10 news from today. Senate Republicans are considering adding bank deregulatory provisions to the crypto market structure bill to help advance the stalled housing package. Great. We talked about World Liberty Finance. Bitcoin Quantum has launched a testnet V0.3. We talked about that. Morgan Stanley filed for a Bitcoin ETF. We've talked about that. SEC Chair Paul Atkins says the agency is working on a crypto framework to provide greater regulatory clarity and certainty. Yeah, we know that. Sui has launched Hashi on DevNet. It's a Bitcoin finance protocol backed by firms including BitGo, Bullish, FalconX, Fortify, and Ledger. Big names in here. Europe's largest asset manager, Amundi, has launched a $100 million tokenized fund on Ethereum and Stellar. What is that tokenized fund? Just a fund? About what, though? MLB names Polymarket its exclusive prediction market partner. Polymarket is just going places. It signs the deal with the CFTC to build integrity framework. Yeah, no insider trading here. The European Central Bank seeks industry experts to shape how the digital euro will work across ATMs and payment terminals. We're moving it all into the blockchain technology. And Crypto.com CEO, Crypto.com Chris, announces 12% of workforce reduction as part of enterprise-wide AI pivot. Not even Crypto.com is safe from the AI layoffs. It's just happening everywhere. Lovely. There's also this on the news. Palantir's Maven AI. Is this real? Maven AGI. I don't know what this is, dude. Maven. Artificial Intelligence Company. Great, thanks for literally no information. What, does this have to do with Palantir or something? It does. It's Palantir's AI to help identify targets for strikes. I thought we were going to use Anthropic. We kind of did when we started striking Iran, and we said nobody's allowed to use Anthropic because they're not allowing us to use them, and they're woke anyway. We don't want them. So we're going to pick someone even more woke, which is OpenAI, ChatGPT. Yes, let's go. And then they still used Anthropic to carry out their attacks. And then they bombed a school full of girls. So it's like, okay. They're using that AI technology from Palantir now to help identify targets for strikes. Yeah, that'll go well. I mean, that's what it was built for, so great. They're being formalized as core US military system after the Pentagon designated it a program of record. All right. Nice. What else we got? NVIDIA confirmed a deal to supply Amazon Web Services with 1 million GPUs through 2027. The deliveries will start in 2026 under a multi-year agreement. So that's free money, guaranteed money, revenue. And good for both companies, I guess. NVIDIA selling more and Amazon expanding their services, the web services. Although people say centralizing it is no good, but whatever. Chuck Norris, I don't know, I'm sure you guys all seen this all over the news. I didn't watch too much about him, know much about him. So yeah, I don't know, I never met the guy. Apparently he passed away, unfortunately, at the age of 86. Family released the following statement. It is with heavy hearts that our family shares the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris yesterday morning. While we would like to keep the circumstances private, please note that he was surrounded by his family and was at peace. Now, side note, I actually saw the news of him collapsing and getting hospitalized while he was in Miami, but I didn't think it was newsworthy, and I saw this yesterday. And then today he dies, and I'm like, oh, that was newsworthy. I just missed out on that. But at that time, I was like, oh, it's just another post on this Twitter feed. Who cares? It's just Chuck Norris, right? I've heard of the name before, but never... I don't know. Have I ever watched a movie from him? He makes movies, right? He's an actor? Chuck Norris. Like, he was a meme when I was in elementary school. Like, that's the only reason why I know him. What movies was he on? Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched any of these. Yeah, I've never watched any of these. So I can't say I've known much about him. And that's just another issue with just me personally, is that I just don't watch movies. Okay, Bruce Lee, yeah, maybe I've watched a Bruce Lee as a child. Yeah, I don't think I've watched any of these. Yep, never watched none of these movies. Maybe Bruce Lee movie, but that's it. Lone Wolf. Okay, I think I recall this, but I don't know. Yeah, so unfortunate for him and his family. Prayers go out to them, of course. To the world, he was a martial artist, actor, symbol of strength. To us, he was a devoted husband, loving father, grandfather, incredible brother, and heart of our family. He lived his life with faith, purpose, and unwavering commitment to the people he loved. Through his work, discipline, and kindness, he inspired millions around the world and left a lasting impact on so many lives. While our hearts are broken, we are deeply grateful for the life he lived and for the unforgettable moments we were blessed to share with him. The love and support he received from fans around the world meant so much to him, and our family is truly thankful for it. To him, you were not just fans, you were friends. We know many of you have heard about this recent hospitalization. Yeah, I did. And we're truly grateful for the prayers and support you sent his way. As we grieve this loss, we kindly ask for privacy for our family during this time. Thank you for loving him with us. With love, the Norris family. Rest in peace, Chuck. Rest in peace. Yeah. Honestly, like I was going to say, every time somebody like asks me, yeah, are you watching any shows, any movies? What's your favorite movie? I'm done. Like, I have no idea. I don't watch any movies, none of that. And like, well, what do you do then? Do you even watch anything? I'm like, well, maybe YouTube, but that's it. Like, that's all. No TV, none of that. Don't have a Netflix subscription. Crave, Paramount, Disney Plus, none of that stuff. Don't watch any of it. I have watched movies before. Okay, I'm not a psychopath. Like, there are some movies that I've seen, like at school or maybe with friends or family, whatever. But I'm not like, yeah, I'm just going to go out of my way and watch every movie ever. And I know all these actors and I know, like, I don't know none of that stuff. So count me out of it. I'll just stick with my cryptos and that's it. No other passions. Great. Yeah, crypto market's the entertainment. Hey, Rudy Morin, I agree. Let's go. So yeah, that's all for the news that I have for tonight. Yeah, really nothing much happened today, but still overall, like you're seeing these fundamentals, right? They're all steps in the right direction, especially the quantum computing thing I think is the biggest one. I'm happy with it and should hopefully put all those claims to rest from all these big billionaire boys. Oh no, Bitcoin is not quantum resistant, and it's like, who cares? When quantum computing comes out, you better worry about your bank account where you're saving your dollars that get inflated every year. Yeah, because that's what most people are going to be cracking down on. It's easier to hack a bank than maybe crypto, which uses military-grade encryption at this point, and it's only going to improve their encryption with this BTQ 360, whatever it was. So I think it will be fine. I'm not saying that it will be perfect. Maybe it does just eventually get stolen, but I mean, who's going to steal your 0.001058 bitcoins when you could steal Satoshi's bitcoins, right? 1 million in there. Why not? But yeah, anyway, that's a thing we got to worry about for the far future. And I mean, by then, Bitcoin will be well above 100,000, and that's all you need to get rich, kind of. You're not even going to make a 2x. You could. I still think it will be fine. I mean, you also got to understand the value of Bitcoin in itself. It's not that Bitcoin is going to make you rich, but the fact that Bitcoin is literally financial freedom, the fact that you control your own money, that's already a costless thing, right? You can't put a price on that. Nobody can seize your Bitcoins. Nobody can freeze it. Nobody can take it away. They can only hack it, but that's only if you're dumb enough to reveal your private seed or whatever it is, private keys, your seed phrase. Or eventually quantum computing, if it is good enough, will hack into it. But we shall see. Still in development. The computer is only as smart as the human, so the human that makes it. That's what a guy told me when I was calling him, is like, oh yeah, but don't you see your system, all the payments I've made? And this has to do with, you know, collections issues. All right, pal, fine. And he was like, well, your computer system sucks, and it's only as smart as the dumb person that made it. I'm like, well, yeah, you're kind of right. And I didn't make it, so yeah, moving on. Funny. Okay, that's all for tonight's stream, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you tomorrow, no, actually, I won't see you tomorrow. I actually will be busy tomorrow, so I'll be busy all night. Nothing is going to happen anyway, so we'll just take the day off. No big deal. And I'll be back on Sunday then. So I'll see you Sunday. And I don't know, maybe we attack another oil refinery or something to talk about. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, have a great rest of your evening, guys. Bye.